Okay, so dear Dharma practitioners, be comfortable yourself and relax your body and keep your back straight, neck head straight in one line and your right palm on your left. So gently close your eyes and bring your attention to this bell sound. And while you're focusing to the sound, mentally relax your body, relax your mind and relax your breathing with your thoughts. So do nothing extra. Just follow the sound, please. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Homage to the Blessed One, the Exalted One, the fully Enlightened One. So, dear Dhamma practitioners, before we start our practice session, as usual, we'll take few minutes for ourselves to understand how this meditation practice can help for us to develop this spiritual path. So, especially when it comes to meditation, we have to be very clear with the technique we practice, and at the same time that what are the benefit we gain and what is the final result. So becoming clear with the path will help for you to develop it and gain the very result day by day, because this is not a path that one day you will get result. This is not like that path. This is the path that you gain the result every day itself. When the moment you practice, results going to be there, but sometimes we don't see it. But by the time you are capable to understand overall that how the practice transform your life. So when it comes to our day-to-day life, why our mind mostly very easily get attached, clinging to some things? We have a behavior. We always see things partially. We think separately and we hold things with only few details. That is why we hold it to things. So then through meditation, especially when it comes to the vipassana meditation, how you can get out of this nature, because the there is the sin saying, no mind is mind. How? So how you can, what is the mind? So when you hold it to something, that is where your mind. When you are not hold it to anything, you get out of the mind. So how you can develop that quality? So when we experience something with our perception, rather than getting to certain details, learn to see it or look at things in its totality. Learn to look at things in its totality rather than recognizing as a part. And so as example, there is a tree in front of us. On that tree, there is a flower. So now you are in front of that. So when you look at that flower, and maybe you heard, oh, this flower is so beautiful. So what happened, that beauty, and when you into that only flower, what happened, you are detained. You hold it to, you contained to certain character of that flower. So from where it comes? It comes from your own history, not from the flower. So then, if you hold it to that kind of details, what happened, you may not even experience the flower. You just vomit your own past experience and enjoy it. Even that open eyes doesn't mean you see it. Even in front of us, something doesn't mean we experience it. So we hold it to our own mind. And when you start to look things in its totality, what happens? You start to get out of this from your own mind. So how we do that? So now in front of your flower, in front of you, there is a flower. And rather than seeing the beauty of it, remember that when you see the beauty, it comes from inside you. So you get out of the beauty. And even you don't just look only the flower. So you start to see the whole tree and the flower as a part of the whole tree. But what happens when we see the flower, we forget the tree. And not only that, the tree holds to the ground. And then not only that, the environment provide necessary facilities to that tree. So when it comes to when you see that in that totality, in ordinary way that you can see the whole tree, and from that tree as a part of the tree, you can see the flower. So in that way, your analytical mind become more strong. And then by the time you are so into understand the causation or the causality, cause and effect. But when we see things separately, partially, what happened, we imprison ourselves and we hold it. That is where the memory build up. We separate things and we hold it to certain kind of informations, and we don't look into to other parts of it. So then what happened? Maybe you like, dislike, happy, unhappy, sad, worry, disappointment, joy, pleasure. So those all can arise as a result of this partial experience. And it feeds mostly to our own thoughts or the own mind. So then in day-to-day life, if you look your life, even any incident, and sometimes things can break, an accident can happen, and even that difficulties can come to your life. So when the difficulties come, if you hold it to only that difficulty, it's going to become so hard for you. But how about that you start to look at that in its totality? That means it's a once you recognize it's a part of life, what happened, your mind itself, it's kind of like opening a parachute. You start to release yourself from your own inner struggle. So especially that when it comes to sport, that when you master any kind of physical art, what happened naturally, you detach from the imprison, and you're not going to detain from certain information. You start to get into the whole environment. So one of the example with the sword in martial art. So when you practice the sword, when you have an opponent in front of you, if you just see the sword, what will happen? You get distracted, disappointed, that the kind of like a detained, contained. You hold it by that sword, and what will happen then? You get cut. But if you are capable to see the whole person, not just only the sword, and even before the sword move, you can see it. And then like soccer, when the goalie is there, if you just see only the goalie, what will happen? You can't hit the goal. So, but you have to see the whole goal and the goalie as a part of it. That's how that sometimes people is look like you go into right, but they hit to the left, because they don't caught up in a certain only one information. So the same principle, when it comes to our day-to-day life, when something happened to you, if somebody blamed you, if something didn't happen the way you want, and some kind of difficult things come to you, if you hold it to that difficulty, only that information, only that environment, what happens, every day you will find a lot of crazy things around your life. But how about when you take that everything as a part of life, your mind itself get released from that. That release very necessary for you, because otherwise we go with this all the collective memory day to day, with this day-to-day experience. And when you look back, you will see that you will experience your life is look like more miserable. Why? Because you collected certain information separately and you hold it to that. once the mind get that attitude, once you addicted to that way, once you train to get all the negative things like that way, in any beauty, you see only the ugly things. But when it comes to a day, you have to take it in totality with the day and night. You can't just go with the day by only daylight. That is the wrong way of understanding about our life. And that itself make our life kind of like a miserable. And when it comes to, if you're going to experience the life only by birth, what will happen? When the death, when you see the death, when you hear the death, you become more miserable. But how about when you see the life in its totality, the birth and death you take as the same way, and you take it as both you take as a part of the life, and then your mind release. Then anymore you have no fear for death. So the failure and success, the both. When you think only the success as the result of life, your life going to become so miserable, disappointed, unhappy. It doesn't matter whatever the things around you, your life going to experience a lot of unhappy, sad, worry things. But how about when you know the journey? If the journey mixed with up and down, and the success is always not only just incline, and it's a decline, incline, decline. So that way, when you take it's in totality, then end of the day, you balance the account. Then that is where you gain the equanimity. There is no joy or the sorrow. So when it comes to any events or any situation, take it as a part of life. Don't separate it from your life. And take it as a part of the world. So how we can practice this? Because when you observe the inhalation, exhalation, what happened in the beginning, you just settle down with the sensation of inhalation, exhalation. But when at the same time, when the mind settles down, what happens? Little by little, you are recognized that inhalation, the exhalation itself, it is just not only in this point. Your entire body, that the totally you experience that inhalation and exhalation. And that itself release your mind from this imprison yourself. And rather than contain, rather than detain with the oh, this is inhalation or this is exhalation, or rather than hold it to it, you release and you gain the freedom. So if you can't see anything in totality, what happened? It hold you back from the progress. So when it comes to mind, ourselves, if you look very carefully regarding your life, there are certain incidents that you still remember, and you put labels on it. You identify it in a certain way, and then, oh, this was the worst thing in my life. And then maybe you think, oh, this is the good thing, the best thing in my life. So like that, you see that. See, if you hold that way deeply, you miss a lot of information regarding your life. But when it comes to the life, if you are capable to see or understand or the experience, it's in totality, that your mental capacity going to become more strong, and it's going to become more matured and sharp and clear. And then what will happen as a result of that, in front of you when something happens, you're not going to just hold, or you're not going to personalize that incident. You don't take it personally. So then that way you're not going to hurt, because then you recognize it's a part of life. So that wisdom is very necessary in day-to-day life. Otherwise, the attachment and always make our life so hard, and this holding, grasping nature make our life so hard. Why? Because we are the one who making that mistake and putting that things into certain limitations and believing it as a just independent, separated, isolated incident. But it's not like that. There's nothing happen like that. So when you are capable to see anything, it's in totality what's happened, the mind not going to hold it to anything. So that is where you gain the no mind. So the no mind is your mind. And if you hold it to something, and that is, and then you gain the experience with your past mental formations, and that is where your repetition going to happen, which we call the samsara. So the thing is this, just by listening to that, or because of somebody did it, and now you also just thinking and just do it that way, it's not going to happen. So that's why you need certain practice yourself to develop it as an inner wisdom. Because the Dharma is not something you can just do. That is what most of the time we try to do. We just keep doing things. And sometimes we sutras, or maybe we keep chanting and we don't get the meaning. And there is a story that in a temple, they used to bring the water. The temple was on the top of the mountain, and they used to go to river and you bring the water. So every day they carry the water on their shoulder. So it's a group of monks and nuns go to the river, and then each and everyone bring a pot of water. So what happened? One day, there was a nun that she carried the pot of water, and it slipped and then fell down, broke the pot. And by seeing that, she attained to the enlightenment. Just recognizing the experience, the impermanent. Because she used to practice meditation related to impermanent. So then what happened in that very moment, that clay pot get into pieces, and she understood it. A moment ago it was a pot, and now it's into parts. So somehow what happened in the evening, in their assembly, this incident came. So, and they didn't have that much, pot. So somehow somebody claimed, oh, she broke that pot. And then the high priest, and mentioned that, oh, she attained to the enlightenment. By hearing this, everybody got shocked. You know what happened the very next day? Everybody went to bring the water. On the way, everybody broke their pots, and believing just breaking the pot, you can attain to enlightenment. No, so we the same sometimes. You know, so this is not like that journey. So that's why when just following somebody or doing something that according to someone, it doesn't work. You have to get out of that. You have to get into your mental practice. It's art. So that's why that every day we're reminding in certain ways for yourself and help for you to get that background to yourself. Because when it comes to you, there's a certain way that your mental, physical behavior develop certain kind of wisdom. So you have to go with that, especially when it comes to meditation. It is overall, basically, we have to know all the informations, but when it comes to practice by yourself, you have to remember, don't depend on that. So because once the reason is, once you start to depend on information, you hold it and you can't recognize it. It's in totality. You just hold it to, you become very limited. Don't be like that. So that is why in day-to-day practice yourself is very necessary. So by the time you are capable to expand your mental capacity a little bit. So then from today, remember, when things happen, don't just grasp or hold, cling with things. Oh, this happened to me this way, or this happened to she or he this way, that way, or kind of start to see things in totality and take it as a part of life. When you experience something, of course, when we go, in a very conventional way, we go day by day. You know, maybe morning you say it's very cold today, and the evening you say it's very hot. So you hold it in that very moment. But if your mind capable to hold it as a season, you totally transform to different level of experience. That is what we need. With everything, with the little, especially with the little things. Because that little things very important, and those are the things that affect for us deeply. When the big things happen, we can manage somehow, you know, but it is very difficult with the little things. If you look very carefully, when the little things you hold or the labelize and identify it as separately, independently, and personalize yourself, by the time your life is look like hell, you know. But remember that little things. Develop a skill yourself to get it as a part of the whole life and take it totally. So that way, you will release from your imprison, and then you will capable to get the freedom to move. So then there is no way anything, any incident around you can hold you back. So that's one way that you develop your freedom. You gain your freedom. And once you develop it as a practice and method, and your wisdom going to be there with you 24/7. And that is where you gain a kind of like a very sustainable mind that keep always the balance. That's what we need. So with that, let's get into practice a little bit now. So your right palm on your left and neck hit straight in one line, and be comfortable with your posture. Bring your attention to your body and scan head to toes yourself and say, Sopatveva, or may I be well and happy, 3 times. Take a moment and think. We gathered here in this moment to practice this ancient meditation technique. All the Buddhas, all the enlightened masters followed this path and achieved wisdom. So we also gathered here to accumulate that knowledge. In this moment with this sitting, may my body become more comfortable, may my breath be more smooth, may no difficulties come to me, may all the success come to me. Also think for a moment, this is the last moment we're spending in this very lifetime, and detach your mind from all your past memories and as well as any kind of future thoughts. Just try to remain in the present moment, observing the sensation of your inhalations and exhalations. So in the beginning, deeply and gently, breathe in, breathe out 3 times, please, and find the sensation. And allow your inhalations, exhalations happen itself. And recognize it through the sensation. Do nothing extra. If your mind go here and there, bring it back again and again. Just allow it to settle down. Bring your attention to your body, please. Observe your posture. We cultivate loving kindness and compassion in our heart and radiate it as a light through entire your compound, village, city, state, country, world, around this universe. Also, as far as you can, through galaxies, other planets, stars, reminding yourself like this. With clear intention, mentally repeat after me. May all living beings in this universe be well and happy. May everyone be happy and safe. And may their hearts be filled with joy. May all living beings live in security and in peace. Beings who are frail or strong, tall or short, big or small, visible or not visible, near or far away, already born or yet to be born. May all of them dwell in perfect tranquility. Let no one do harm to anyone. Let no one put the life of anyone in danger. Let no one out of anger or ill will wish anyone any harm. Expand the loving kindness and compassion beginning from your heart. Forward. Visualize yourself and send it as a light. To your backside. To your left side. And to your right side. Downward. And upward. To all six directions at once. Like the moon, the sun, spread the light, spread the energy, without any condition, without any limitation, without any resistance, without any judgment. Let your heart to shine with the loving kindness and compassion from the bottom of it, with the maximum effort to the highest. Wishing yourself, may all living beings in this universe be well and happy. Say sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. So first of all, we offer this practice to the great qualities of the Buddha, Dhamma and the Sangha. And also by the power of this meritorious deed, may all of us attain to the supreme bliss of Nibbana. May all your guardian angels and deities will receive these merits and increase their longevity and protect all of you from any kind of planetary influences or any ill effects. Ittavata cha ammehi sampadam punya sampadam sabbe deva anumodantu sabbha sampatti siddhya sabbe bhuta anumodantu sabbha sampatti siddhya sabbe satta anumodantu sabbha sampatti siddhya Imaya dhammanu dhamma patipattiya buddham pujemi dhammam pujemi sangham pujemi Addaya imaya patipattiya jati jara vyadi maranam ha paribunjisami Idam me punya kammang asavakkaya vahang hotu sabba dukkha pamuncatu. Bless you.